United States President Joe Biden will pay a solidarity visit to Israel on Wednesday following the Hamas attacks. Iran has warned of possible preemptive action against Israel in the coming hours. And as Tel Aviv gears up for a ground offensive on the Gaza Strip, Hamas says we are ready and it does not scare us. US President Joe Biden will visit Israel for talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and to make clear that Tel Aviv has the right to defend itself. From Israel, Biden will travel to Amman for talks with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Jordanian King Abdullah II. Announcing Biden's Israel visit, US Secretary of State said that Tel Aviv and Washington had agreed to develop a plan for aid to Gaza. Blinken met for nearly 8 hours at the Defense Ministry with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The visit marked the top US diplomat's second visit since October 7th attacks by Hamas. Previous conflicts between Hamas and Israel have ended through mediation by powers with a keen interest in West Asian peace. The casualties on both sides, Hamas killing hundreds as well as taking hostages, and Israel hitting back with deadly force, complicate any mediation plans. The role of regional kingpin Saudi Arabia remains hugely sensitive. Some analysts suggest move to normalize the kingdom's own relationship with Israel could have been one of the motivations for the attack by Hamas. As per Washington Post, Saudi's Crown Prince snubbed the US Secretary of State by making him wait for hours for a meeting before postponing it. Now remember that Blinken last week visited several US allies in West Asia in a bid to rally them around United States' position. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is set to visit Egypt and Israel. Egypt has a peace treaty with Israel and borders the Gaza Strip, a Hamas stronghold. Egypt has in the past repeatedly been called upon to act as a mediator, with Cairo also happy to add to its diplomatic prestige. Iran continues to hit out at Israel, and apart from funding Hamas, Israel's arch foe backs Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran warned of a possible preemptive action against Israel in the coming hours, and the Iranian foreign minister said, and I quote, "The resistance leaders will not allow Israel to do whatever it wants in Gaza." A Russian-drafted UN Security Council resolution that called for a humanitarian ceasefire in the war failed to pass. Russia proposed the one-page draft text on Friday, which also called for the release of hostages, humanitarian and access to aid, and the safe evacuation of civilians in need. The text condemned violence against civilians and all acts of terrorism, but did not name Hamas. Meanwhile, Colombia said Israel's ambassador should leave the South American country before rolling back comments. The Colombian minister initially said that the Israeli envoy should at a minimum apologize and leave after criticizing Petro's comparison of Israeli attack on Gaza with the Nazi persecution of the Jews. Later, he stated he had merely demanded respect for Colombia's president. The Colombian foreign minister said, and I quote, "I have not said that the Israeli ambassador is expelled.